What is it that gets you up in the morning?
Caffeine.
I love it.
That's a good answer.
If I don't get up and work, people don't eat. And I feel that. I feel that every day. And it's not just me, it's, not just my kids, not just the kid that I have on the way. It's all that. It's like my tribe, right? Like we don't eat if I don't work. So I got to get up and I got to get on it and get it done by any physical, metaphysical way possible. Get my ass up in the morning and get to work. That's it.
Welcome back. Welcome home. Episode 207 of the podcast. We are back. Shout out to the patrons, patreon.com/YouAreHerePodcast. The best way to support us, if you like what we do, throw us a coffee. It's as simple as that. It's cheap as that. It's still the giving season. I've been saying it the past couple of weeks.
It still is.
It's just started.
Yep.
You can still spread a little cheer.
That's right.
We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/YouAreHerePodcast. We're playing games. We're live. We're reacting to videos. We had a couple. It's cool. It's cool. You know what I mean? If you want to talk to us outside of the podcast, we're up on there every Monday or Tuesday in the evening. Mm-hmm. And also, Anytown Actors Lab. Now, AnytownActorsLab.com. If you are looking to act, if you're trying to learn, if you're somewhere you're stuck, you don't know what to do, get on that website. They got a free consultation. And if you're in Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, they have classes in person. It's our good friend, Adam Louder. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a while. He's super passionate and a great guy. AnytownActorsLab.com.
Boom.
And we're back.
We're back.
We're back, baby. And we have a guest, a very special guest.
Yes, we do.
Now, this man is a father.
Uh-huh.
A writer.
Yes, sir.
Actor.
Yes, he is.
A lot of things.
Yes, he
is.
is.
We have Adam Simon.
Hey.
On the podcast.
Adam Simon. Welcome to the You Are Here podcast. He's throwing the ones and he's throwing the twos, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't see it, come look on YouTube. What's up, Adam? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Dude, so glad you're here. So glad you're here, man. I got to say, first and foremost, I've gotten to know you in a couple weeks, man. Just briefly, a couple phone calls and really cool messages and exchanges. And it says a lot about your character, man, what I've noticed so far. And I'm big on character. Like, the person you are, you give a lot of time and a lot of just focus and time to people like myself that you have no idea who the hell I am. You never met me before, but you were willing to give me some time to hear me out. And I just have a lot of respect for you, and it says a lot about the character, the kind of person you are. And it's crazy. I was a fan of yours before I knew you. You knew me, and your story touched me. So I want to get into all that. But first, I wanted to say thank you for your time, dog. Thank you for speaking with us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time, man. And thank you for listening to me vent.
Yeah, man. Oh, I appreciate it.
We have full disclosure. Me talking to you was more like, you opened a door and really it was on a day where, and how are we on this? Can I just
you go anywhere, buddy.
Do whatever.
Anywhere.
Explicatives that I need
yes.
to.
Yes.
So, yeah, I was just fuck this town. So you caught me on a day. I was literally pulling into a Whole Foods and was just man, I hate this place. And you had hit me up and were like, hey man, whenever you want to talk or whatever. And I'm like, I want to talk right now. Hey, let me tell you what I hate about Hollywood. And you were just what is, I just imagined you just sitting there just going, what is this? What is going on?
No, man, it was great.
Thank you for your time and allowing me to vent.
For sure. For sure.
Go
yeah, man. Well, I mean, you've been doing what you've been doing, and I want to get way back. And I know you probably answered a million questions like this before, and I'm trying to make sure it's not that. I know the rags to riches thing. I don't want to go down that path, but I do know some things that you spoke about.
Let me know when that riches comes through, bro.
Dude. Yeah, it's coming. If it hasn't yet, it's coming.
We know when that rolls through.
No, I feel you. But no, man, your story is really interesting, dude. And the story that where we cross paths, I guess, in life, man, selfishly, is I went to a theater and I watched a movie called Man Down. Came out in 2016. And
Wow. You saw that in the theater, bro.
oh yeah. Me and my wife went. I'm big on Shia, and like his acting really influenced me growing up. And I started back in 2010, and he was a big influence. I was kind of moved by his work always. And so when he made that, when you guys made that movie, I was like, I got to see this, and we're going to the theater, and we did. And I'm being real, it was like one of the most no bullshit, not blowing smoke. I had a whole meltdown. Like by the end of it, sobbing, both of us hugging each other in the hallway of the theater. I remember with those nasty rugs, like just holding each other. Like fuck, man.
Wait, brother, if you don't mind me asking, what theater was this?
Oh, I think it was like Clifton Commons or something up in Jersey here. But yeah, I just remember hugging each other, like consoling each other. His story of like this veteran with PTSD, and like it just felt like you were watching it happen. It felt like we were watching like a real someone intimately like going through the thing. And I hadn't seen something like that before it. And that's where I was introduced to your writing, man. And I'm curious to know, like you've spoken about this a lot, man. You were, people look at Hollywood, Adam, and they say what? They say, dude, my man's in LA and he's fucking writing this movie, and it's on the big screen and the stars are in it, and it went to Cannes and it won all this shit and people standing ovations, and like, what's the reality of the situation that you're in? Like this thing that you've been living amongst for so long. I just wonder, how did your heart get into story, man? Like, how did it get you to this place?
Yeah, man, like, my heart. That's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because that's a word that we kind of use, with each other. That's a very, very kind of special word that definitely Shia and I use with each other. But it's in reference to the story. But I had like so many people I was always a storyteller. Like ever since I was a kid, I'd done drama and writing and stuff. Like the first story that I wrote was like The Adventures of Max. It was about this rabbit in space.
Oh, wow.
And it was like in school. And then I wrote like some other stuff, and I kept them. My mom's like a crazy journaler, and she makes like scrapbooks and stuff. And so she like kept everything, which now, being this age is like so cool and so kind of awesome. But I'd always been a storyteller, but how are you going to pay the bills, doing that? And I got married really young and had 2 kids really young. And it's that thing of like Christian Bale says, it just was like telling stories or like acting or whatever was just like a means to be able to provide, like to be able to. I just didn't know how to make that thing work, right? And like, I'm 45, man. So like growing up, it was like there was no like Google Tarantino script and it comes up and you get to read whatever Academy Award winning script is out there. Mm-hmm. Like that just wasn't a thing. So I had to read books and just kind of, I was just kind of self-taught. I didn't go to, like a acting school or like a Juilliard or anything. I took classes, but that was about it. But I was always like telling stories, man. But like I had to do other work to pay the bills, everything from, working as a server at a restaurant, doing landscaping jobs, whatever. And I got crazy stories as a Domino's pizza driver.
Oh man.
But yeah, like that was a fun point in my life. But like, then I got into like bodyguard work and security, and I was still writing scripts and writing stories. And, Man Down, the heart of it came about because it hit me right at a point in my life where I was at the height of my PTSD. Things were just kind of unraveling, by my own design too, by the way. Like, I always tell people, they're like, man, why did your marriage fall apart or whatever? And I'm like, you're looking at it, and it's easy for somebody to say like, my alcoholism or my addiction and it kind of puts it off you instead of just saying, no, it's me. And you can cite all these different things. And there's a litany, there's like a laundry list of things that you can go, well, this is where it comes from. But ultimately, like, you're responsible for your own actions. Mm-hmm. So like my world began to fall apart because I was pulling strings out of that sweater, and it started to unravel because I was unraveling it. And wanting to get help, I just didn't know how to go about it. And people run into art, they're running away from something. And a lot of people run into acting or writing or painting or whatever that thing is because they think they get to be somebody else. But the truth of the matter is, you got to find yourself.
That's right.
To be the best version of yourself in those artistic areas. So I didn't know that. So I was running away from who I was, which was a shitty, terrible person, and running into this art to kind of go, okay, I got to get away from me, only to discover myself and have to do an about face and like hug the cactus, but I had to go in and, kind of accept myself and overcome some things. Wow. But in there, went through a divorce, ended up losing my job. At the time, I was managing an apartment complex in Hollywood. And I was also, up until that point, doing bodyguard work and privatized security work. So I was traveling with executives and celebrities and stuff like that. It was glorified babysitting for a bunch of entitled and then, and I fit right in because I was an entitled fucker as well. And then, but everything just kind of fell out, right? So that's when I had to go, okay, this isn't working. Like I'm waking up and wrapped up in my, ADD and getting triggered by things from the abuse that I suffered as a kid and acting out in ways. So I gotta address that. Mm-hmm. And the first thing to do was to write. And I just started writing about it. And it just struck me that while I was out on the street, I stayed at the Mission Homeless Shelter for a period of about a week. And I was like, okay, this isn't happening. Like, there's too much heroin, too much drug use, too much, everything. This isn't where I need to be. But in that environment, I kept coming in contact with veterans, and that was shocking to me. My dad was in the Army. My dad's also former law enforcement. He was a cop, 32 years, LA County Sheriff's Department. And, I would just meet these people that were highly intelligent and had, seemingly their shit together, clean shaven, and sometimes not, right? But like sometimes these guys really look like they had their shit together. This kind of thing, sorry about that. This kind of thing where I was at, like this kind of, it started as like a working on my own shit, but then I decided to turn the light onto them. And so it was still a way for me to address what I was going through and what was hitting me as far as my own failings as a human being and the PTSD and what was triggering that. But then instead of just being here, I was like, oh, look at this. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. We have people who took lives for our country that are living on the street. That's crazy. That's nuts to me. So I wanted to look at that, and that's where the heart of it came from. Me and this that got into a physical, we got into an altercation in an alleyway in Santa Monica, and that also kind of fed into the story, and it was just kind of that. So that's kind of a lot. Sorry for the big long answer and rambling on forever, but that's where it came from. That's where it started.
Right on. So it's like
I had no idea it was gonna freaking go where it went.
How could you, right? How could you?
Yeah, I just wrote it, and then I started workshopping it at the acting school that I was at. The acting school, I don't even know what to call it, man. It's it was the Joanne Baron D.W. Brown studio in it was a Meisner studio in Santa Monica. Yeah. And so we were, I started workshopping scenes with actors and just saying, like, does this feel right? Does this sound right? And just running through scenes and speaking it out loud and seeing what felt right. And then talking to veterans, meeting with a ton of people in the veteran community, going to the VA hospital, talking to guys, just making sure that stuff was legit. And yeah. And even, like The Affair, right? That takes place in the movie. Critics were like saying like that was like a plot device, but it's not. It's a serious issue. It's a serious problem, like within the military. Same thing happens in law enforcement. It happens with first responders, where there's a lot of infidelity because these guys leave. They're alone on base. There's not a lot of people that understand that world that they live in. Army had a whole group that was created to deal with the problem of infidelity within the ranks. Wow. Because it was affecting people. I even had, when we screened Man Down at one of the military bases, somebody, raised their hand and they were like, I don't like, that whole aspect of the movie. It seems like it was contrived. And I was like, well, it may have gotten through the directing and the editing and everything that way. It may have come out that way. Right. But how many of you guys have been jodied?
Right.
And then hands started to come up. And I said, so if it's not a problem, why do you guys have a word for it? And they were like, yeah, you got us. And I'm like, yeah. So, it exists. So it wasn't something I just threw into the story.
Wow.
I've been cheated on in relationships. I've cheated in relationships, and so it's like, let's just talk about it. Let's just not pretend like it doesn't exist. And like, we're not all capable of doing that. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, man.
No.
Sorry that was so long.
Then don't say sorry, please.
There's no sorry.
The back of my head is going like, like it's playing that music that they play.
No. Dude,
we're here to talk.
You can't see it. It's a little blown out. It's called the You Are Here podcast. So whatever's present, we let it run. It does no cutoff, no like hook at the end of the fucking curtain pulling you in.
What is that on the wall? What is all that?
You can't see it.
Yeah, it's a little blown out.
The webcam we got is a little blown out
for you guys.
But you'll see it on the YouTube page. It's it just says You Are Here podcast in a circle. We got a little neon.
Yeah. Then we got
what's all the artwork?
Oh, so tell him, bro.
We I try to make it a little personalized every week.
This is all Mikey's things.
We're still in the Christmas season. We have
on a show.
Some books that Dave had me read. We used to do some like poems and stuff. Sometimes we pull from there.
We got an album of the week every week.
Yeah, put up a vinyl every week.
Yep.
I collect a bunch of stuff. That's Jay Dilla's Jay Stay Paid. It's like an underground kind of hip hop album I'm really into. And we try to keep it personal.
Yeah, we're welcoming you into our home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are like the most welcoming.
Try to be, man.
Well, we're at my home, so we try to keep it.
We are in a home. Dude.
I did want to ask something pertaining to the story behind Man Down and everything, because this is one of the questions I had is are most things you write very personal?
Dude, I was going to ask him.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was, man. No.
Go ahead, bro. And just sidetrack because it's really tripping me out.
Yeah,
like, you are the spitting image of my cousin.
Oh man, really?
Whoa.
Wait, Dave?
My cousin, yeah.
Oh,
Zach Fernandez
okay.
is just look him up. So he's the artist who changed the Hollywood sign to say Hollyweed.
Oh, really?
Man.
Yeah, so that's my cousin.
Shout out. Shout out.
Yeah, Zach. He's got his own weed line, like these gummies, but it's called Hollyweed.
Wow.
Is his line of like edibles and, and stuff like that.
Shout out.
He's dope. But dude, your voice, like your facial hair, is freaking crazy. All you need is some crazy facial tattoos.
Oh, right. Yo, that was the next step. I was thinking about that.
That's awesome.
Anyway, continue.
Yes, sir.
Man,
yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Dude, are we boring you to death with the man down stuff? You could be real.
No, I love it. Like, we'll talk about whatever.
Okay.
I'm down.
It doesn't have to be about Man Now, but just in general, because I found that I love, the more things I love, like films that I really enjoy, I think are things that are personal, that come from a personal place, because I feel like you can tell when something is, a work of fiction and something that's not fiction, something that comes from a personal, real place. And that's what sounds like, things come from for you. And I just wanted to know if you've ever if you notice that things that are made are more personal or they're not, or what is your take on, that?
I mean, dude, everything's got to be personal for me. Like that, I mean, I know a lot of people that make a really good living. I met with a guy today. He makes an incredible living. This dude makes so much money, and he's just cranking out shit that's like he doesn't care about. And that's a skill. Like, that's an incredible skill to be able to just go bang, 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 like just bang out these things where it's like, the 3-act structure. Here's our guy. He's at the low point of his life, and then bang, this inciting incident happens that sends him off on his journey. He, following the hero's journey, he leaves his village. He goes and gets the water. He brings it back to the village. It's that classic retelling of the story, and just boom, 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 and just like hitting everything, just like hitting it, bam, and he's out. And dude's just a machine. Like, it takes like 6 days, like cranks out a script, on to the next one. And I'm amazed. I'm amazed by it, because I care a lot about, the things that I write, and there's gotta be me. Like, I gotta see me somewhere in there, and then it becomes personal, and then it becomes real. Like, to me, everything's real. Like, whether it's the acting side of things, like, it's like the second that you step foot into that situation, it becomes real, as real as it can be, right? Like, so, there's that, and and that starts with the writing. Like, I feel like the acting fed the writing, and the writing feeds the acting, and the writing feeds the producing. The acting, writing, producing feeds the directing. It always has to come, just for me, from a personal place. So everything that I've written post Man Down, there's always a character who represents me. And then, each of the characters have to take on, this man, woman is the worst part of me. This is what I aspire to be. This is, my hope. This is my despair. This is my anger. This is my rage. And let those come out, because they have different voices, right? Nothing's worse than I write something and it's all just seems like the same person talking. When you do character work and you're understanding a world, you find people with different cadences, different ways of speaking. So that feeds in when you're basing characters off of different people. That's why I love people watching, meeting new people. But like, at the same time, it's also you. Like, when you're angry, you speak differently, you talk differently, you think differently, you act differently. When you're depressed, same thing. When you're happy, when you're elated, when you're drunk, when you're this, that, and that feeds the writing. You have to put yourself in the driver's seat of whatever characters are in the scene. At least that's how I do it. That's how I go about it. So everything's personal.
I knew when I talked to you, bro, this was gonna do that. I don't know if you can see it. My hands are coming together like that, like peanut butter and jelly, man. Because this, I'm very interested in what you just said about acting, it influencing the writing, and that's where your heart for story kind of kicked off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it about? I'm interested in this, like, because I got my whole thing with acting, and that to me, when I found it, when it found me, I always loved story. I always loved hearing stories read to me, reading stories, writing stories, and like, there was something about acting that I didn't understand when it first found me. The purity of it, I came to figure out for myself, but it got twisted up with my ego and wanting to be loved so fucking bad, you know, and just looking for any kind of respect and love from the people I love.
Salvation.
Yeah,
right?
Salvation, exactly. Yeah, godless. I was hunting for it, and I found it in acting, and it got tied up in the purity of the thing. But the thing,
Wicked drug, dude. That's a wicked drug. It's the worst drug.
That's right. That's right.
Worst drug.
It is. I mean, after everything you do, someone comes up to you. One person comes up to you and says, "Oh man, oh, dude, that was awesome," and that you get the hit, boom, and then you get 30 seconds of I'm the shit and I'm loved and I feel great and I'm, you know, what's next, and then it's over, you know, and you're looking for your next person.
You know what? It's that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Right?
with Leo when the girl goes, oh, "That was amazing," you know, or whatever, and he's like, "That's a fucking great note." You know?
Yeah, it is.
Like, dude, come on.
It is, man.
The same thing. Like, people, you know, they responded kind of weird to that movie for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that Joe Rogan podcast where, like, before he had Quentin on, he had another guy on, and they were like, you know, Bruce Lee wasn't like that. It's like, motherfucker, it's fiction. Like, what are you talking about? Sharon Tate was murdered. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they weren't beaten to death by a stunt guy, you know, but like, you know, it's like a what if universe in Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, it's a movie, dude. That's
right.
Stop.
That's right.
Like, this is Black Hawk Down. It's not like based off of a
that's right.
You know, real event. Like, yeah, there's real people in it, but it's like, what if?
Right.
You know,
right.
It went down like this. But I like, yeah, dude, like, it's the reason to go back to what you and I have been talking about for like 2 weeks now. I think that is the reason why it's a light, right? Like that thing that it can, you can work out a lot of things. You can work out a lot of problems. You can meet really great people. You can work with amazing people, few and far between. But it's also a light that attracts bugs.
Yeah.
And it will give fuel and fire to the best parts of you and will absolutely magnify the worst parts of you. And that's why Hollywood creates monsters. And I think power creates monsters. You know, there's no difference. Everybody likes to make this distinction of, like, you know, this Hollywood Illuminati, like, you know, drinking babies' bloods and, you know, doing bungee jumps with umbilical cords. You know what I mean?
You never saw that? You never seen that?
Like that, like Hollywood is the master of the dark arts. It's like, listen, man, I've been in Washington. You know, I got people that have been, you know, as close to working in the White House. Like, the shit that goes on here pales in comparison to what's going on over in DC. And it's just absolute power corrupts absolutely, you know? And you said it perfectly, that validation. But that validation, that starts from begging to get in the room. That's right. Literally, right? Like, you're going in front of a casting director. 9 times out of 10, the role's already been cast. It's already been cast. They just put it out there because they want to give the illusion that they need an audition. They don't. How
sick is that?
They've already picked it. And you're walking in, you're begging, please, let me get this, please. And a lot of times that's something that you got to, like, shove down, that desperation to want to get a part.
Right.
But if that's how you're paying the bills, that's a hard desperation to hide.
Yeah.
And then you get, like, you know, you're begging to get in the room, and then you get in the room, and then you're begging for more. And then you show up on a set and somebody's going, oh wow, you know, you look so great. Let me do your hair and your makeup and you're all in your clothes. Wow, you look fabulous. And then you go there and then, oh wow, you did such a good job. Oh wow, that's amazing. And then you go to, you know, the premiere. Oh my gosh, look over here, look over here, look over here. You know, it's like all that stupidity.
Yeah.
Stupid. It's dumb. But it just feeds, man. It's just, you're so important.
Yeah.
You're the center of the universe.
Right.
And it's, yeah, you ain't.
Bro, there you go. That's you. That crumb of banana bread. That's the infinitesimal you. No, but bro, I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of friends with this one. But you know what I mean? Like I gotta be honest.
I'll still be here, dude.
Thank you, man, and I'll be here for you.
Hey, there you go. We're here.
Yes, sir. You are here. We're here.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that? You said I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of friends.
You know what, dog? It's tough because I have a lot of friends. Not a lot, a few friends. We all went to school together and we studied acting together for a decade almost now. We've been making our own things. And some people divert and they go to LA or they go pursue it in other ways. And I'm screaming inside because I'm like, you know, guys, I've seen you. I've seen you do Arthur Miller. I've seen you do Shakespeare. I've seen you do all these beautiful things, Odettes. And Hollywood's they're not looking at you. They don't even care. They're not even going to blink at you. They're not going to know you're there. And I don't want you to spend 20 years going down a road and not making your own shit or writing your own shit, learning how to write, using your acting technique and the things that you found in acting, the things like looking at a person in the eye, like Meisner. And this is what I was all based in. And I could do that the rest of my life, dog, to with no people, with just one person I'm working with, and I'm fulfilled now. But the thing that I told you, I was tied up in this, I need validation. I don't need it no more. I give up, man, like surrender to that thing. And the good thing is I'm not surrendering. I don't want it. I want to do, if I'm going to act in a thing, because I find if both of my feet are in being a vessel for story, then I can serve the story. And that's the job. That's the job of the tribe member that was in the tribe that told story. That was his job. And that's just been going on forever.
Back to cave paintings.
That's right. And that's what I say when I mean like I'm going to lose people because I think it's hokey or corny or something, but I really mean it when I say it. And when I see people one foot in, you know, the flashing lights and the premiere thing and where's my next check coming from and who's my agent, and then one foot in the story, well, you're losing the thing that you might be able to become for the better of storytelling for the person who's going to watch it, like the dude in the theater watching Man Down in 2016. Not saying that like, you know, I don't know how those actors were. I don't know what it was like to put that whole thing together. I don't know if it's total purity, but for me, it was a big deal. And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, that makes me nervous sometimes. I don't want to turn off people to like, go pursue whatever you want to pursue. I love you. And like, I think, and I could be so fucking wrong. This is just the way I see it. Yeah, that's my, yeah.
Well, dude, I was like that. Like, and I think a part of me still is like, you know, where I just go, I never had a backup plan. Right. And like, you know, my bank account, you know, for years and years definitely reflected the fact that I didn't have a backup plan, but like, it just felt wrong to do it any other way. You know? And I always had a side hustle or multiple side hustles to try to, you know, keep the lights on. Now it's different. Now it's, you know, COVID, like I went to work and I made a lot of content. I got really specific. I was like, okay, I'm going to go kind of back to the drawing board. And even like on Point Blank, like somebody will look at Point Blank and they go, oh man, that's just like popcorn. Like you took, you know, this concept and this idea and you made it this like homage to like films in the 80s or whatever. And, you know, however anybody, you know, wants to critique it or slice it. But like for me, it was just all about the fear of becoming a father. And that's the main character's trajectory. Like he's like, ugh, like he's got this fear about not being there and not being there for her, not being there for the kid. And like that haunts me, you know, like that's a very real thing. And, you know, and there's been times where I haven't been there, you know, and, you know, particularly, and me and, you know, my ex, we got a good relationship, but it's like, there were times where I wasn't there, and because you can't be there.
Right.
You can't be there. You're not omnipresent. Like there's going to be times where you're not there. And that fear like creeps in, like, am I a good enough father? Like, am I a good enough person? Like all those things, like, it's difficult. So even something like, as popcorny as popcorn as Point Blank was, there was still this thing underneath it of like, I want to talk about, being a dad and what that's like.
Yeah.
And the fear of being a dad again, of being a father again. But it does, dude. Like it's anyway. It's gotta come back to, the truthfulness, like the honesty of the thing. I love rocking with people that are about that aren't about this stupid, like what is this? Like what is this? What is this thing? What is this thing where people who have nothing to do with a film, right? Like you guys go make a movie, right? Yeah. And let's say I don't know you. Like I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Maybe we haven't met. But I see your film's premiering and I got to be there because Hollywood Reporter and Variety's going to be there taking pictures, and Getty Images is going to be there. So I got to make sure that I'm there so I can stand there and they go, Adam over here, Adam over here, Adam over here, and I look like I'm, on the bow, of a ship, like I'm George Washington, in that boat
crossing the Hudson. Yep.
Crossing, and just peacocking and moving. It's like, what the fuck is that for? Like, what is that for? People say publicity and marketing. It's like, no, full stop. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Ah! Like, and everybody's screaming, over here. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And all it is, it's a vehicle for the start. Like, all of a sudden, what are these people who had nothing to do with the film, nothing to do with the production of the film? What the fuck are they doing? Yeah. Like showing up just to go, I was here. I was a part of this.
Yeah.
I was a part of this. And that's a whole discussion that we can get into.
Well, let's get into it, dog. Let's get into it because this is it okay? Can we do this?
Whatever.
All right. Okay.
Listen, Hollywood is the place. That's an example how it functions. And how it functions is you're just a cog in the machine that serves a purpose. It's just what it is.
That's right.
And people will use your rise, demise for their benefit. So like, you die tomorrow, motherfuckers who didn't even know you are going to be pulling up, pictures or whatever. People who hated you. I remember this time that Adam said this thing. Yep. And everybody's going to be using it. I remember there was a woman who had a very very scary, kind of crazy thing that happened to her in her life. And she was going to come out with it. She was an actress. She was going to come out and expose somebody and as being abusive. And she straight up said that she wanted that news. She was going to hold off on it for 6 months so it would coincide with her movie release.
Whoa.
And I was like, that's crazy. That's a crazy way to think. Nuts. It's not about like what's right or what can like benefit people or stop somebody's, like abuse or actions. It's all about how can I benefit from this? How can I use this event? COVID, right? All the celebrities get together and they're singing Imagine.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We don't fucking need that. What are you doing that for? That's crazy. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Dude, everybody's in pain.
Yeah.
You need to sing a song together. What? What are you talking about?
We need
it's
that.
Crazy talk. Stop it.
Yeah. Well, what about? I mean, we're not going down to this road in a negative way, but I'm interested in No. I just want to boil it down with you. I just want to boil it down to a real distilled, maybe thing we could find together. Just really brainstorm this thing, like star system's in place, right? And you can promote a film with it, and you put this person in this thing, and you write it, and since they're in it, we're going to sell this many tickets, and it's a number we know, and we'll get this person because they were on the last thing, and then we'll rope everybody together. We'll make this thing. We'll go to this premiere, and boom, here it is. And your life,
which I get.
I get it too. I get it too. It's a business. That makes total sense to me. If you're trying to make that number, I mean, why not? But where you're at personally, let's say you before Man Down, you said I'm visiting VA hospital, I'm doing research, I'm writing this thing, and I'm in this home, and I'm having an altercation with this dude in the alley. Nobody knows who the hell I am, and then movie comes out, it's produced. Oh my God, this movie's getting made, and not only that, like look who's in it, and then I don't know what the process was. We get into it.
Hero, dude, my hero. Like looking up Gary Oldman.
Come on, man, Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's in the damn film.
That's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. And now you're at.
Or dude, it's Daniel Day-Lewis, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Freaking Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
And Denzel. Like that's
bro.
Mount Rushmore for me.
We could talk about Gary Oldman all day, but like you end up at Cannes, which is like a big deal. That's a big deal for us, for story people. When we're looking at Cannes, like you never get a story in that festival. And
also the big one for us, the even bigger one was Venice.
Venice Film Festival.
It was Cannes, but it was also Venice. Like Venice was wild.
But like,
it was like
yeah.
Wow, that made no sense to me. Yeah. I didn't even know. It just made no sense. Mm-hmm. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
They're still sleeping on the floor of an art studio. This another great artist. Shout out! This guy's just blown up. It just does my heart so much good to see this guy who literally came from nothing. Now he's just. But Gabriel Gall,
shout out.
Him and this other artist Rob Pryor. But I was sleeping on the floor of the art studio and then the couch of the art studio sometimes, and it was wild there, and still not having received a dime.
Wow. From
the movie, I got like an initial like step payment.
Yeah.
I was still waiting on money. And
yeah.
By the way, like nothing you could live off of for a year.
Right.
Definitely not with 2 kids.
Wow.
So I'm like waiting for that. And then like I go to the airport, like I freaking, fly out. Like it's just wild, man. Like, I was, getting into arguments and craziness back at home. But to go there and then to see that kind of all unfold. And everybody just getting like dressed in their best and going and who are you wearing and what designer and like that whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Like it was a trip. Cause I'm like, why? Like, why are we doing this? Like, I don't know. It's just I'm always that dude. And maybe it's all the weed I was doing at the time. I don't know. But I was always the guy like sitting back going, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Man. Like, I don't know. What is this, man? Yeah. Like, and I'll tell you, man, Venice, what made that endurable or I was able to endure that weirdness, Shia and Patrick Hibler. I was a dear friend and producing partner. We're producing a movie right now.
Shout out.
Yeah, but they just, there wasn't a room for me at the hotel because this other producer, like this is also indicative of Hollywood, had screwed me out of a room.
What?
Like made it so that I got there and there wasn't a reservation for me. This is somebody who tried to steal the writing rights.
Whoa!
From me.
What?
And assign it to somebody else. Yeah, while I was writing it. And like 2 a.m, I roll into Venice and I'm like, here's my name. I'm like opening up the program and I'm like, this is me. This is my photo. Like I'm supposed to have a room here. And they're like, sorry, man, don't have a room. So I went out to the beach and dug out under one of the bungalows and crawled in and there that night. Man. And then I went to the press screening of Man Down, reason I'm sharing this story isn't just to share it, it's because it's answering your question, because it's indicative of the system. So I don't have a room. I get dressed in my tux on the beach, smell like shit. Like I haven't showered. I go to the press premiere, I get there and they're like, your name's not on.
Come on.
You're not on the list. I didn't have any way to speak to anybody. I was calling, the woman that I was dating at the time. I was calling her and having her communicate, or trying to communicate to different people, trying to get a hold of Patrick or whatever. So I go there, name's not there. I'm lit. So I'm coming back. I'm raging. I'm pissed. I go down to the beach. I'm busting out parts of, gondolas. I'm throwing stuff in the ocean. My card was declined, so I had no money. So now I have no money. I'm sleeping outside. I'm back on the street again, only I'm in a place where I don't speak Italian. And, and I've got no way to get around. And it just so happened that I'm coming around the corner. I'm just lit. And Shia comes around the corner. He's just eating some gelato. Just randomly, dude, like in the middle of the night, just like, bam, we both came around the corner at the same time. He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, where were you? And I was like,
oh.
And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that doesn't happen. Nope, it's not happening. And so then we went back to the hotel. I explained like what happened, found Patrick, he sorted it out, got me a room. And so I ended up, being able to stay somewhere. So, and this is why I roll with Shia. Like, this isn't the reason, part of the reason. There's many reasons, but unconditionally, like always have. And if you ask him, he'll tell you, like, I've always rocked with him, even when, whatever, getting arrested or whatever. Mm-hmm. So what? I've been arrested. But I was like, hey, I'm here. Like, there's no conditions on me being your friend ever. Anyway, but we go into the full-on premiere, and we're walking in, like, he's nervous, I'm nervous, I'm feeling like I'm gonna puke, and I'm like, this is where they booed Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain, Love. This is where they stopped Terrence Malick's, Tree of Life.
Oh my God.
If I did that to those guys, they're gonna kill us. They're gonna like pull our arms off and throw us out, And then Shai's like, that's a good point, man. Look, what happens? Like, what happens if they start booing? What happens? You know what? And I was like, they start booing, I start swinging. Like, that's what happens. We're going to war. Nobody's shutting off this movie. I'll take over the projectionist. I don't care. There'll be a hostage situation. So we go walking in there, and because there'd been like a lot of mistreatment and a lot of like, I'm less than, even there, even in those environments. I mean, all along the way, and I never got this from Patrick, which is why he's my brother. He always treated me as an equal, and didn't have a reason to. I mean, I'm just a person like him, and he always treated me as an equal. And we walked into that room, and Shia looked at his seats, and there was a name on it of this other person, and he pulled the name off and threw it in the crowd, and he goes, sit down. And I sat down next to him, and we went through it. That was the first time he and I had watched the full cut of and it was heavy, it was intense, and we just like you, we had that same reaction. It was our first time seeing it, so I was crying. I shared this in another place before, where like this security dude, like this bodyguard guy that was rolling around with us, like he grabs me, he's crying, and like pulls me into the hallway, and he's like, I have a daughter, and he starts talking about his daughter, and I'm talking about my daughter and my son, and we're having this like conversation with this crazy, roided to the gills, bodyguard, just like talking to this dude.
Yeah.
So I share that because it's like a caste system, man. Like this whole thing, it's just powerful people getting into positions, and it's men, it's women, it's gay, it's straight, There's this myth that it's predominantly like one side, but like I've seen it all. I've seen it all, man. Like I've seen people abusing their power, using whatever they can to be able to get to the top. And if that's your bag, like if that's your hustle and the way that you're going about it, like to each his own. It's just not my hustle.
Yeah.
But most of these people in this town will use sex, drugs, money, like whatever they can, character assassinations, whatever they can to like get ahead and get to where they want to be.
It's a circus, yeah.
Dang.
It's a circus. And keep other people down.
Well, I mean, what you just said about that bodyguard in you after the film and that overwhelming emotional, moment with Shia and Ditto and everyone there. Like, that's it, isn't it, though? I mean, at the end of the day, is it? That's it. That's what story can do.
That's a drug too.
Hey.
It's a drug too.
Okay.
Right? That's something, dude, if I'm being fully honest, that's something that I found out about me is standing there. It's a weird thing. It's like, oh, all these people are looking at me. Why are all these people looking at me? And it like messes with your head. And then you get back and go, okay, how do I duplicate what I did to get there?
That's right.
Because that felt good. So I want to get back there. So how do I get back there? So I guess I gotta, write The Danish Girl or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let's say cap on that movie. but it is that thing. It's like there's certain movies that get awards.
Right.
There's certain movies that get nominated. It's kind of like like you got the subject matter check, just make sure it's well acted. I never, I got back and kind of fell into that, started chasing, a couple of different people who I really admired. Met some people. I've met all my heroes, and most of the time was just like, oh, you're like just as dirty as I am. There's no elevated platform that we're all standing on. We're all people.
That's right.
That's it. There's just people who do things exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, we have a surgeon who's able to, execute, a certain amount of surgeries in a certain amount of time and do it well and is making advances in medicine. But like, are we all jockeying for like that dude's like approval or whatever and getting in his presence? And like, I don't know, maybe we do. Maybe that happens in those circles, but definitely not to the magnitude that it happens.
Yeah.
Here. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
We're just like free flowing. What
about ego, man? Because this is something I think you're hitting on right now is like, if you're cool with talking about it, like the before and then this moment in Venice, and all the people are looking at you, and now life's different. Now life's a little different. A whole audience of people are looking at you now and saying, Adam,
it's like, how do you not?
I want to talk to you, man. Like I gotta express how I'm feeling, man. And like you're the guy. You're the one that did this. So. I mean, I can't imagine it not giving you that boost in your ego, the feeling of being special, the feeling of like I'm worth something. I did it. I done did it. I made a dream come true. Yeah.
And dude, especially because I had like telling me that I couldn't. When I was living where I was living, like so many people just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And look, like for reasons partially because look, like Mandown's got its problems. It's got its issues. There's some things that I'm like, like the whole fact that like in the script, Gabriel Drummer is coming in contact with survivors of the apocalypse, whatever that apocalypse was. He's coming in contact with giant groups of people. He's going through like people who are intense and outside and foraging and surviving. And then at the end of the film, you learn that like, oh my God, those were all like he was at a homeless shelter. Right. He was like on Skid Row. He was like at these places, right? So it makes it that the reality, like his kind of fugue state, this whole state of mind that he's in is believable because his reality is mimicking what's going on inside of his head.
Right.
If you're looking around and going, the world has ended, well, absolutely the world has ended. The world has ended for a lot of people that are there in that state. But it's ended for him emotionally. It's ended for him, mentally, and to have that physical representation. But in the film, budget constraints, whatever, you have it, artistic, decisions and different. There's a lot of different decisions that are made. It's just him, his imaginary friend, and the one homeless guy that he's traveling around with.
Right.
And, I think that kind of messed with the story a little bit. So the film, got a lot of negative press, and it got a lot of heat because, we really couldn't get it out there that, what we were trying to do and what we were saying. And they thought, this is just some graduate of USC, who read a copy of Save the Cat and decided to, write some shit and exploit veterans. That was one side of it.
Wow.
And then the other side of it was people really, triggered and other people also finding great peace and clarity from it. And I love that too. Like somebody very wisely, and it's a well-known phrase, just told me, he said, you gotta treat praise and disdain with the same kind of attention. You just don't give it that attention, which is hard, man, because right after that I was like, I felt good. I was like, I did it. I had the blessing of Gary. Gary was like, I love the script. The script's great. He did interviews where he was like, I love the script. I love, the writing. It was awesome. Shia had my back. He was throwing work towards me and showing me a lot of love when he was talking to people, which I was very grateful for because it food on the table, for me. Mm-hmm. But it got to me. And then I was like, I'm not doing this Mickey Mouse bullshit. Like I was getting offered, a few things, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Like that's beneath me. I'm not doing that. Fuck that. Mm-hmm. And, I probably should have taken those opportunities because it would have been an opportunity for me to test something out. Like now it's like horror, I got you. Sci-fi, let's go. Like but it's always like, let's find the heart. Like let's find something that like grounds us to something that's real and relevant. And, it's the thing that Carnahan, who I love dearly, is like, back something that's socially relevant into something that's commercially viable. Right. And he's absolutely right. Like you got to find a way to do that. And it was really, really kind of cool. But ego is a battle, and still a battle. It's a battle every day, Yeah. Gotta kill that thing. What do you do? Like this isn't, it's not just exclusive to like, people in the industry. Like he finds the ego killer.
The ego killer.
Yeah. Or maybe not the ego killer. Maybe that's the wrong way to ask. Like, what do you find is something that keeps it in check for you? Like what helps you on the daily? Like you're married, dude. You know how this goes. It's like, did you take out the trash? No, I didn't take out the trash yet. When are you going to take it out? I'll take it out when I want it to,
Yeah.
So it comes up like that, mm-hmm. And, what helps you? What helps you guys?
Yeah, man. What helps you with your ego? What kills your ego? What tools do you use? Or what person or what?
You know what? For specifically with films, because I haven't, sadly I didn't work on the feature, but so my experience is all like shorts, but soon.
Yeah, buddy.
But one thing I really learned from the shorts and stuff is, we talked about this before, like going to like the festivals and you do the tour and you see all these people, you see so many people. It's a beautiful part about it is you see all these people in the same place trying to do the same thing. They all have the same goal and the same aspirations or dreams. Mm-hmm. And, the more times you go, the more you're like, at least for me, I kept seeing like people that are stuck in this like cycle of this is as far as they can get, Mm-hmm. And to get to that next level is sometimes impossible for some people, but it's like such a daunting task that like when I see someone stuck in this like cycle, I'm able to pick it out and be like, I don't want to be stuck in something, you know? I love moving around. Like I can never like sit in the same place. So I guess it's sad seeing other people, you know, being stuck.
Observing other people
know?
stuck is like your ego killer.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Sheesh.
At least you have a wife to call out your
My
ite
wife calls out my bullshit all the time. I mean, that's a big ego killer.
And that's
for
good.
Real. Yeah.
There is, man. You're freaking. You get a partner in your life. I've focused for a long time on oh my gosh, what do you like? Oh my God, you like Pantera and Eminem? That's crazy. What? We're soulmates. What's your sign? You know, like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or just like, oh my God, like, don't you love this movie? Oh, you love that movie? I love that movie. And then you're like in this thing, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, a partner, like that's a different thing. Like somebody that's showing up when nobody wants to show up.
That's right.
And also somebody that's gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Man, that's hard. That's rare. You know, we're so private, dude. Me and my amazing woman, like we're just super, super private, but she is a G. A G. And you know, like, hey, you know, like I said, kicks me out. Go.
Yeah.
Like, go kill something, bring it back.
Yeah.
You know, get dinner, like go get it. And that's because that requires a certain amount of trust too.
Right.
Not like, hey, are you, you know, like the certain, like we're in charge. It's like, no, I believe in you. Go kill it. You know, did you come in the door and there's nothing, have a milk slung over your shoulder? Like, what's up? What happened? Okay, cool. You're like, well, tomorrow's a new day. What time did you get up this morning? 8? Okay, tomorrow you're gonna get up at 5.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not for everybody, but like somebody that's like holding it down, like telling you what time it is. I remember we walked in this meeting one time, and you know, by the end of that meeting, she had run a make on everybody in there. Like everybody was like, this is what this dude's doing, this is what this person's doing, this is what this person's up to. And I was just like, man, that's freaking amazing, because she's watching my 6.
That's right.
You know? And that's it. Like most of us, just because I've done this, man, we're selfish beings. So we're looking out for our own interests, whether that's, you know, even emotionally, sexually, like we're just looking for our own gratification, as opposed to like really locking up with somebody and trying to build something. And I don't mean like starting a business or whatever. I've done that. Fuck that. Like it's like build each other. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Like supporting each other and yeah, just building a home, building a family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's dope. Like that's an ego killer. So when you said, you know, to him, you know, what is that? That's your wife. I had to chime in, because it's like, man, like that, you know. And it's critical to have the right people. Be around the right people, because when you're around the wrong people, man, like, and not judging them, like, it's wrong because it brings out the wrong things in you, and you're wrong. Yeah. I mean, so it's like, you know, if he's laying down the, you know, Colombian marching powder, you know, in front of you, you're still the person that's got to, you know, snort that shit. Right. So it's like, you just don't, you want to hedge, you want to head those things off and minimize those types of situations so that you have clarity, you have, righteous purpose, righteous intent, you're getting things done, and you just have that clarity. It gets rid of the fog. You're just executing, just nailing stuff. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, man, what do you find like in your like relationship, like not to, put you on the spot. Maybe he's going to be like, oh man, it's over at end of today.
No.
But what do you find? Like what helps in those moments where you guys are, where you have disagreements, where you guys don't, like what helps you out? Like, where do you go? Where do you guys go to?
Right away, man. Like I've learned that emotionally, I'm through the roof. If she's in the same spot, I'm hot blooded, man. I'm pretty quick to.
Dave sees red.
Yeah, I get that blackout nonsense that. It's sad, man. It's like it's not I don't feel cool talking about it. Yeah, no, you can laugh at it. Yeah,
I get it.
It's like, I don't take it to heart. Yeah.
I'm laughing because like when I'm the guy that like if I get kicked in the nuts, I laugh. Like I laugh in pain. Like so, I'm not laughing at you. And please excuse me. Like I'm just yeah.
I got you.
I'm feeling my nuts getting kicked.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. Okay.
So you see red, you go.
Yeah, man. It's a quality in my life that I've been working on for a long time. Mikey knows, and it's tough, man. So when the wife calls out a thing, and I get fragile, and she shatters that fragility of, hey, I'm the man, and I bring the bread to the table, and she's or whatever, and she's like, you're not doing this though, you're not doing that. It used to hurt me a lot, and so I would emotionally get hyped up, and then. The bad thing I would do is, and this is what I had to correct, is I would grab the keys and go in the car and just start it and drive. And I've learned that, like, it's a very selfish thing. It was definitely a thing instinctually. I was like, I need space. I need time. I'm way too fucking through the roof to be communicating with anybody, with him, with you, definitely not with her. And so, I spoke to a therapist about it, and she was like, well, why don't you just sit with your wife as you're going through it? Like, hey, listen, like, I'm not feeling well, and give me 10 minutes. Like, just give her a time limit. Just say, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna take a walk or whatever, and I'm gonna take 15, and I'm gonna come back to this situation emotionally different than I am right now. Because I'm fucking human, and you are too. And this isn't gonna go well. We're both mad, and you don't want me to leave, and I don't want to go, but I gotta go, or you gotta go.
There's like, why are you leaving? You're leaving me.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I found that's pretty dope, man. Like she knows the drill, and I know this is gonna clear me out, and I'm gonna see where I went wrong, right? Because I'm not perfect, and she's gonna see maybe I shouldn't have said you're just like your father, whatever. Like that was a little harsh, and we're gonna come back together and we're gonna talk, and it's gonna go better.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
There really is like
you're saying like instead of like, hey, I'm gonna bounce, because then that's like
that's wrong.
Yeah,
you're running away and disappearing.
That's right. It's not right. That's not. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm my own person, and I'm gonna do my thing.
You're just saying like, hey, I need a walk. I need 10 minutes. I need to clear my head. Like that's what
for me, man. Yeah, that's the thing. That helps me.
If you don't do that, you're flipping separate pages of a different book.
Well said.
Yeah.
When you say something, you're on the same page.
Have you found something in your relationship now where it's like this is definitely working for us when things are not going well?
Just listen to whatever the fuck she said.
Anyone who hears that, gotta stick to that,
dude. Oh man, everyone says that, and it's
lying, bro.
That's it. Dude, that's funny.
She doesn't put up with no shit.
Wow.
I listening a lot more.
Yes.
Like just
yes.
Which I haven't been doing here. Like, but like
no, you have.
You have.
But it's like that thing where, because here's the other thing, like, not to sound stupid, I don't know another way to say this, but just like game recognizing game. Like this is somebody who has a life lived, you know what I mean? And so there's a respect level there that it's like, this person has done it, like put in that road work, that blood, sweat, and tears, and has seen it and done it, and not some, fake BS authenticity bullshit that we see so much of now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second, but it's like, so I respect, like there's a deep respect that I have and had the minute I met her, of her opinion, but not just her opinion, because she's really good at just spitting facts, and which, when she wants to, she can, snap a neck, but it's like, knowing that it's coming from a place of like, hey, this is my experience. This is what I've seen.
Right.
And I'm trying to add value to what you're doing, because I'm trying to build something here with you, stupid.
That's right.
So like, you can get all mad, get all cry or whatever you're going to do, Mr. Pisces. But like, cause I'm that guy. I'm either like a dolphin, I'm on top of the water, just, keeping across, or I'm a freaking killer whale, like coming up from underneath you and gonna, and drag you down to the depths.
Right. That's right.
But it's like, but I recognize that, and I'm able to see that. I just think you really, and I just looked at that and was like, well, why can't I have that all the time?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I have that in my business relationships and my friendships and like people that I want to, talk to, and now I do. And it's just going, and I do not hesitate to call it out, as, people don't hesitate to call it out on me. Like, they go, hey man, I think you're full of shit. Or I think you're pushing a certain line here, man. Mm-hmm. And then I got to check myself.
Right.
And I think the same thing. I had a meeting with these dudes, 2 days ago, and this guy was running a con. He was just running a shell game. Oh. Like, let me see your watch. Let me put it under this coconut. Let me move it around. Now, see, film financing is done like this. Like, I bet you don't know where your watch is, but what we're going to do is, this is how we're going to fund our film. It's based on foreign sales projections, and this is a lot of mumbo jumbo you don't really understand. So if you just bring your equity people to me, and I literally am just like, shut the fuck up. I see what you're doing. I see the hustle. Very well scripted, very well done, but you're trying to rob people blind.
Yes,
fuck. We're not doing business.
Yeah.
And just being unafraid to just say, hey man, move that, wagon where you're selling, elixirs that cure cancer, right? Take that wagon down the road, because I got to deal with, real people. We got real problems. Let's try to do business.
Right.
So, yeah. Man, it's crazy. It's crazyville. Crazy time.
Bro, I had this. I want to share with you something real quick. Then we could get into like other things. But when I was pitching this this feature, wrote the first feature I ever wrote during COVID. I think I told you the whole thing. I'll be brief. My best friend, one of my best friends, and Mikey's my best friend too, hit me up and was like, what can we write? And I was like, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk. And I was depressed. And he's like, no, come on. And we wrote this thing together over 2 years. And we get to the stage where we're at, pre-production, saying, well, how the fuck are we going to make it? We have no money. And we never did nothing before but shorts. One of them got to Amazon Prime. Look at us. And like, nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like, so it was...
I made this movie. It's dog shit. Don't ever see it. I won't even say the name of it. I won't even promote it. It's terrible.
Dude, I get it.
And dude, it's not terrible because we didn't care. It's like we cared, but then it became like an ego kind of a thing.
I get it.
And that's on Amazon.
Right on. Yeah.
Spent a dime to watch it.
Yeah.
This guy. I wrote it, when I was in it. Like,
dude, no, and those things are cool. I'm not poo-pooing on them or the people, but like the thing I found was like, we would get a meeting. And we set up a bunch of meetings, and we never done nothing like this, man. It's the first time. And I was, excited because I'm in a place where I feel like I'm trying my best to die to ego before this thing even lifts off. And I'm praying to God, and I'm saying, God, if it's meant to be, you got it. If it's taking you away from like If it's taking me away from the road you want me on, take it away from me. I don't want it. And he, you know, whatever. But these meetings got set up, dude. So I'm sitting with these people that have done it, have sold this feature, and one of them won an Oscar on this thing in the '90s, and now he's doing other things. And I'm you know, no people, you know, I don't know, but they made films, and so now I'm sitting there, and every person to the person, man. And this is what I want to talk to you about, because you said something a lot different on the phone, and it sparked my interest. Like, you know,
we could have recorded our phone conversation.
Ah, me too, man. I wish we did too. Yeah. So yeah, but actually I did. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No. But in these meetings, dog, like each person to the person was looking at me and my partner, and total respect, and I get it. But they're all saying like, not enough money, not enough time. You're not going to do it because A, B, C, D. I have no money to give you. I have nothing to tell you other than like feed the crew well, or like, you know, take them to the movies in the middle of the shoot and keep the spirits up, and respect. Like, you know, it's tips and it's you know, kindness for the time. Like, we're nobody, you know, and in the eyes of an industry, we're really nobody. And I got that, but it was interesting. It was a very cool thing to go through. Now that I'm looking back on it, because it was like, we got to figure it out by hook or crook. How this thing's going to get made, and we did, and I got a lot of people to thank for that. But with you, man, like you were saying in our phone conversation, it's like, you know, people are going to look at you that, you know, Mikey's 26, and Mikey, you know, made a couple music videos, made some short films, and he's maybe looking to make a feature down the road. And he's looking at you, talking to you right now, and saying, you know, dang, like I could learn a lot from Adam. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been amongst this thing, you're working in it right now, and you're doing very well. Like, in our eyes, you know, we're looking at you and we're saying, look at this guy. And you're giving us our time. And that's what I hit on before. And what you said in our phone call was like, I want to like be real with the people, the artists who are coming behind me, and leave them something to say, like, you know, I hope this is helpful. I hope I can help you in your road, because this road's treacherous. Like this, there's so many pitfalls and traps, and like, you're right when you say that. It's not clean and squeaky, and you could, you know, do it for this many years and make sure you do this, and then you'll be there. And a lot of people are out to get you. A lot of people are out to like take from you, take your stories, take your time, take your money, take your dreams, and just be like, you're not good enough, and you're not pretty enough, and you got scars on your face. So like, fuck you. And I just think that's awesome, dude. So I want to say that. And I think it's super important. And I just respect you for doing that. But like, what is your thoughts on that? Leaving something, trying to assist an artistry that's like coming up behind you. Maybe not necessarily agree on the stories or the way they're being told or whatever, but like, you're trying to keep a pure artistry moving forward. Like trying to keep the fire alive, you know?
I think, you know, man, like everybody's way is their own way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like everybody wants to know like the way or the path. And it's like, I can say what's like, you know, what's like worked for me, but that may not be for somebody else. But I think for me, it's like, there are certain things that are universal, like showing up, working hard, being on time, you know, knowing your stuff, working on your craft, I hate that word craft, but it's like knowing your.
Why do you hate that word, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, man. It's got this like craft, you know, like nothing's dumber than like this, you know. It's like, you know, I sat down with this dude who's EMT, and just hearing his stories and talking to him, and like, you know, he's like, you know, doing chest compressions on people and trying to keep them alive, and I'm over here like talking about sandcastles. You know what I mean? It's like there is a little bit of that.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I love this, but I also hate it. But it's also like, man, yeah, there's so many things about that. I guess just being like really simple about it. It's like them stars out of your eyes. Keep your feet on the ground. Stay humble. Be consistent. Execute. Have the discipline to like be consistent and like get shit done. The best thing that happened to me was COVID, because I had to teach to make ends meet. Nobody was buying shit. The town shut down. People moved back to wherever they were, from, and came out here pursuing some kind of a dream, and they all, left. Armageddon. Like, California was jacked. But I'm reading all these scripts, and then I went to this script coverage company. So I was blazing through, 20 scripts a week and giving notes and cared about those notes and knew that the writers would care about that. They're trying to get coverage on their scripts. So I was like blazing. I read hundreds of scripts, and then, critiqued those scripts, and then was grading and helping people understand, structure and character development and character arcs. And it just made me a better writer. And so diversifying, finding ways to understand, because, filmmaking is a collaborative process. So learn, what everybody's doing, and work on yourself, figure your own shit out, man. Like, we got enough, the graveyard is full, of the tortured artist. I mean,
yeah.
And people think they got to be, broken to make something, and it's not the case. You can have your shit together and get it done. And do not buy what's being sold, right? Like that. Again, I'm just speaking me. I'm not like going like, come hear the Sermon on the Mount. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just saying what my experience has been, and what it's been, particularly for the past 2 years, which is, I don't buy what Hollywood sells. Like, I just don't. I'm here to tell the stories that I know, or the things that I'm interested in. That's the thing. I'm writing the sci-fi thing right now, which is, really dope and really fun, because it pertains to a certain aspect of technology that I've always been fascinated about. So I get to learn. I get to become a student of that thing that I'm interested in, that I did not know. And always having that, that desire to learn and go learn something and grow and come out on the other end a different and a changed individual. Evolve, grow, fall down, pick yourself up. Like, these are kind of universal principles that I think everybody could benefit from. But this whole Hollywood selling thing, man, like, now it's either. Before it was just this thing, and you brought it up. You said star worship. You said, these red carpet kind of things. I understand, like, the necessity of these things to sell, which are just becoming more and more useless as the day goes by. Like, it actually isn't necessary at all. But and that's, again, my opinion. Who cares about my opinion? Who gives a fuck? But it's like, there's this ego-fueled, like, I'm the center of the universe, exceptionalism, stars, icons, that kind of a thing. They're selling that. Yeah. Like, this person's better than you, this person's smarter than you, they're more beautiful than you, they're more talented than you, you ain't shit. Kind of a thing. We have these private, this private party, which used to just be the Oscars. And I think people do need to be celebrated. We need to celebrate, the arts and those things. But when it's like, well, this year I'm going to be going to the Independent Spirit Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the People's Choice Awards, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the MTV Movie Awards, the VH1 Awards, the BET Awards, like all these fucking award shows for somebody who just plays pretend. And we're not even celebrating the army of people that it takes to make this thing. We're just looking at the director, photographer, special effects, actors mostly, because that's what people are here to see, and occasionally a writer, but nobody gives a fuck about that, right? So it does set up this system. That's the thing that's been packaged for years and sold. Then over here now we've got fake authenticity, which is being sold, and I'm not buying it. Like,
this
listen,
is interesting, man.
I'm so grateful for my time as a bodyguard, and I did security at the Golden Globes one year. I ran security, checking people into the green room, and then also the media tent for the Academy Awards, and then a bunch of other award shows and galas and different ceremonies and stuff around town. So it's those guys, it's the valets, the security guys, the assistants, the PAs. Like, there, you want to know what time it is? Like, they'll let you know. Like, they'll let you know. And there are people that are really lovely. I'll throw one out, like Keanu Reeves. He's freaking incredible, dude. Like, and I got to sit down and talk to that dude. There's a thing just recently that fell on my radar that's circled me back around to him. And just very genuine and down to earth. But see, it's like that thing. It's like, why do we want that? I had a lot of time to think about it. We want artists to be more elevated and enlightened, and we want them to be good people because they paint with emotion. So whether it's music, whether it's painting, whether it's movies, whatever it is, we're sitting there and we're emotionally affected by whatever it is they're doing. We're getting inspired by Braveheart, his speech as he's, running up and down and talking to the soldiers and talking about freedom. We watch Gladiator, we watch, whatever it is. Man on Fire is one of my favorite freaking movies on planet Earth. I don't care what anybody says. I always get into arguments with people about this movie. Like Denzel and Dakota Fanning, their performances are just so dope. And when they meet each other on the bridge, I'm crying. Like, it's over. It's done. I'm done for a week. I'm playing the soundtrack in my car. It's amazing. We feel that. Go, well, that person's a wizard. They're able to make me cry. All of a sudden, what the hell? I'm crying. Yeah. And your body's going, well, Denzel's making me cry. Must be an elevated individual, higher being, because he's able to do this thing. It's like the bullfighters in the ring, when the bull goes past, they say, ole, which comes from, God is with us, is what they're saying. Like, they're in the presence of God because they're able to dodge the bull, and get this emotional reaction out of the crowd. So, we want that. Yeah. It's not real. There are really horrible fucking people that can make you cry, make you laugh. Look at the comedians. There's comedians that can tell jokes and they're just super skilled and just slay on stage, and they're really fucking terrible people. Yeah. And there's people. So I get a little this wave that's kind of coming through. I appreciate that people are trying to be more honest and open. Look, man, it's one of the reasons why I'm talking to you. Like, is this guy for real? Do you pray? Like, do you really pray? Like, are you just full of shit and you're trying to sell me something? I'm going to reach out to this dude because I saw your video clip and it made me feel kind of a way. I'm going to hit this dude. So we started talking and I'm like, he really is this way. Oh, that's interesting. I can get down with this guy. Reminds me of my cousin. Like, I feel like we can talk. The side of that is when CAA or WME starts saying, hey, you need to start being authentic and honest in your interviews. Be vulnerable. Talk about something from your past. They start packaging and selling honesty and authenticity. It's dishonest. It's inauthentic. It's pandering. It's a Chevy commercial.
Do you know for a fact that's going on? Like packaging, I need you to tell a story on this interview about your past and make sure that comes up because we need authenticity from you, so and so. That's some scary stuff.
That's very scary stuff because then you don't. It's Homelander. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On The Boys.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, staring at the camera with that crazy ass smile, talking about, his family and his time at home and
Right.
these blue collar family values. And it's like, so to answer that part of the question, put a pin in it, and then because you and I talked about this before, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Whatever that hype is, whatever they're selling, don't try to mimic it. Don't be the 20th person on TikTok that's redoing the voiceover from Zoolander. Don't be that guy. Like there's 20 other people who did it before you. It's the weirdest thing. I get on Instagram and TikTok and I'm like seeing hundreds of people telling the same joke. I'm like, why are we all mimicking each other? Because it's popular. Look at all the likes that they have. This must be good. No. And not to knock him, I'm not taking him down. I hear wonderful things. I hear it's great. It's great. But do you honestly believe that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, every day, that's how he's living?
Oh, come on.
No? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not taking him down. Again, I'm not knocking. I'm in no position to knock. I don't fucking know him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, good morning, everybody. Are we going to go get it today? Are we going to get it? I'm getting it. I was listening to John Williams this morning as I was doing my 800th rep, and I was thinking about my character Black Adam that I helped in the script and I helped produce. And I, you know what I mean? But I'm just a guy just like you. I'm just a regular person just like you.
It feels that way.
You. Just like you in my four-story Gold's Gym that's in the basement underneath my 20-car garage, right? I'm just like you. Yeah. No, you're not.
Not at all,
You're not.
man. No.
You're not. And so, and there's another side of this that's even more insidious where I just know too much. Man. I was the dude standing there where they're like, take my coat. Disregard the needles and the blow in the pockets, Yeah. Or the guy hey, my wife's going to come out in a little bit. If you could, just take her around the corner and dip because I gotta go this other route. I got these honeys waiting for me around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So you go this way, I go this way. Security, you get to see. You get to kind of peek behind the curtain and go, oh, my guy who's just up on stage getting all the girls crying and sobbing about how much he loves his wife and the family values and this, that, and the other just dipped off the stage early because he said he's got to rush on a plane to get back home to his woman to read a good night story to his daughter. And he just dipped out with 3 hookers up to the, presidential suite. That's the world. That's why I think The Boys is one of the best fucking shows about Hollywood. You want to know what Hollywood is like? It's go watch that show. Yeah. It's what you're being fed versus what's really happening and the illusions that we allow.
That's right.
In our own lives.
That's right.
Right? Mother's Milk is still letting his daughter have a superhero themed birthday party when he knows that food on her birthday cake is a rapist.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's still happy birthday, honey, blow out those candles. Yeah. I tried to kill that guy one time, but, he's home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Hollywood. Hollywood's it's a S&M brothel, filled with necrophiliacs. So bad, dude. I'm sorry, man. No, I'm just crushing that dream.
No, it's bro.
Do we... I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Mike, go ahead.
Is this just a necessary evil, or is there a world where there can be, just story first? Is that possible?
Oh, there you go. Hell yeah.
Is it possible?
That's the dream right there. That's the dream. That's the dream I'm on. I'm not worried about that. That necrophilia fucking, craziness out there. I'm good on that.
That we're living in?
Yeah.
Hey, but guess what? We build it. We make it.
Yeah.
That's it.
One block at a time.
Bro, this thing that I'm working on right now, man, I had a blast writing the script and making these pitch decks and materials and all this stuff for this project that I'm doing with Joe Carnahan. I had a fucking blast, working on this script and same thing, creating all this materials. Cause that was the other thing. It was like, well, I wrote the script, that should be enough. And people are like, no, you need visuals, you need a deck, you need a Bible. So I'm like, well, let me go back, let me learn graphic design, let me learn some art, let me look at some tools that some people are using, let me put together my own decks. And so then I started doing that. I had a blast with Lynch. And the two projects that I'm working on now are just freaking dope, man. Yeah. Like working with Patrick Muldoon, he's such a freaking psycho. I love him so much. I love the Patricks. Patrick Hibler and Patrick Muldoon.
Shout out.
Shia, like, and Shia and I just like, we talked about a project recently, but like, honestly, man, for the past like 2 years, me and him have just been talking about life and kids and work and not even film work. That's like, right. Just like, I was praying for him. He was praying for me. You brought up prayer. Do you, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, motherfucker.
Do it, bro. Let's go.
Do you find it difficult to talk about prayer? Like you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. Not anymore. But it came with that fucking, Doug, you did put me on the spot, man, because I fucking hate that thing that I do and I'm like, I hope no one listens to me and thinks like he's a fucking loser. He's not being honest. I'm being honest when I say like I probably and I gotta sign a contract with God saying like, listen, you may not get $1 from any movie you ever fucking make or act in or write or whatever. And are you cool with that? And I really gotta say like, it hurts. It fucking hurts, dude. Like, I don't want that. That's not in my heart. I don't want that. But I know that like my prayer life, when it got better, it helped me boil down this fucking like beautiful thing about story and like what God put me in relation to this story and why I'm so attracted to it and why I see story through him and why I could be a vessel for that thing and not in a fucking. I get passionate, man. I'm sorry, dog. I really don't mean to curse. I really don't mean to. I just, and I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I think it's beautiful that like the homie can do, he could crank out the procedurals and like make a, I think that's a, and that's the word you hate, craft. That's a real tool. That's a real, like you could feed your family on that. That's a beautiful thing. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying like I can paint a wall and I could serve some coffee and I could, hustle and do my thing and feed my family too and still tell story in a way, or not tell story and have to be okay with that too. But prayer was the thing that like, it started to change that view in my life. Everything was me. It was fucking, I have a big heart. I've always had a big heart, and I always loved people, but I always seek love from people. That was my fucking, that was my Achilles heel, I guess. That was going to be it till I died. And then this prayer life really is, it's just changing the way I see people. They're not, I acquire this love from this man right here. He's my best friend. And then, well, I got him. So now like, what about you? What can I do? What song and dance can I do to and God gave me these.
Because that's where prayer turns into a David Koresh situation.
Oh, that's fucking scary. Yeah, that's scary. I'm off it. I'm off it, dude. If I have, if everyone fucking leaves me, I got to be cool with that.
Listen, man, I've been through AA. I've seen people do AA alcoholically.
Right.
Where all of a sudden it's like, yo, this is my meeting. Are you gonna come to my meeting? Are you gonna come to my? All right, this is my meeting.
Oh, they didn't show up to my meeting. What the fuck? Like that's my meeting.
Like, bro, what have you been doing Monday through Saturday?
Right.
Just meetings, just talking to people. Right. I've been doing this thing, and if you don't, and all of a sudden it's like they're like a dictator of a thing, and it becomes a mechanism for control. And I'm like,
That's not. dude, 100%. But
this is the thing: is like I'm suspicious of all organizations.
Right on.
Like it just, now we're getting into the religion. which is
sir.
cool.
Yes, sir.
But like it's like, I was raised Mormon,
Yes, sir.
and like being in that environment, I'm like, oh, like really? Like this is what, really?
Yeah.
Like we're doing like
Yeah.
erotic stuff? Like what's going on here? Like Joseph Smith had how many wives? Like what's going on?
Right.
Like you're telling me what I can eat and drink and and you're laying all this stuff on me and like control. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I got dirt on every single one of you. Like that kind of a thing.
Oh, man.
And that became at a very young age the model that I've just recently broke. I know a second ago I was like, this motherfucker, I've seen this guy do this and this and this. 5 years ago, I used to be like, fuck this fool. You know what he's done? I saw this guy do this. I saw this guy do that. You know what I've seen? I've seen this. You think this guy's hot shit? Guess what? I seen this dude, freaking participating in all kinds of reprehensible behavior. Now, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I see you. I know what you're about. Cool. Good to see you. All right, move. I gotta find this guy.
Yeah.
I gotta find those like-minded people that are just like, yo, let's get to work. Let's make something.
Right on.
They don't want to talk about the aesthetics of the car, the philosophy of building. Like they just want to get in, get their hands dirty, work, discover the truth of something and get it done.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's in film and sometimes it isn't. But you talking about prayer is like, that's the funny thing is that, then I was in AA and I saw that organization. And then I gravitated to those personalities that are like, this isn't just AA, this is my AA. You're now a part of my group,
Right.
And like, why am I gravitating to this dude? Oh, it's because this is how I was raised, right? Like this is the structure I came from.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck you, you ain't sober. Fuck you, you're lying. I seen you doing this thing the other week. You're full of shit. All right, I'm out. And then blow it up and burn the bridge.
Yeah.
And martial arts, same thing. I was involved in martial arts, worked my way up, got my black belt in American Kempo. And then when I got to the top, I was like, this dude said he served in the military. He's full of shit. He never served. I looked up his military record. Your sensei is full of shit. Wow. This guy, I'm out. And then they're trying to clean up that mess. It was all true. But then I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Spending so much time, working and coming up, and meanwhile going, I got your number, I got your number, I got your number,
Right.
It's like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. I just need to, make good work, do good things. And just make good work. And prayer is a big part of that, man. Prayer, meditation, so your head's right, making sure your area's right. We talked about putting on before you go.
That's right.
And you're of the Christian persuasion, yeah?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But I'm also not like poo-poo on anyone else because I think that just my one-on-one with God is my one-on-one. That's how I see it.
I mean, a lot of people get that twisted too. Like people, I've got this really good friend of mine who's, he's Christian, reads the Bible every day, and we have conversations about it. Because growing up the way that I grew up, we had to.
Yeah.
I've read the Bible front to back multiple times, then studied biblical Hebrew so I could understand like what it said. In its language, not in a language that was translated by people who already had a religious slant on what they were reading. Right. And so, which is not to knock it, it's just saying like it went through a filter. I just wanted to kind of like go around all that.
Yeah.
People have always gotten on this thing of like, we'll be free, there's all this like somehow like Jesus was like, hey man, like we're all cool, like everything's good, but like Jesus busted people up. Like,
yeah.
jacking fools. He went into the temple and like flipped over tables,
Yeah.
with whipping dudes with
Yeah.
a whip that he made that had pieces of bone and rock, in it, like braided his own whip, and spent the time just like, oh, you are all gonna catch one. You're gonna catch it as soon as I finish this thing. You guys are done.
Yeah.
And they went in and just, went berserk. And when they came to him, called them vipers and serpents and liars and thieves, and he wasn't afraid to call things out. It's interesting, man. Like we all kind of gravitate to these things that we want the world explained to us, and I get really nervous, which is why I get nervous with this interaction with you, is because I get nervous about showing people the way, and I try to just go, look, man, like working hard, showing up, doing those kinds of things, building consistency, pushing yourself, learning new things, that's universal. Everybody can benefit from that. So I'm just going to leave it there.
Hey, okay.
Because I don't like saying follow me, because people who are out there right now saying follow me, like follow my YouTube, just click the subscribe button, just follow me, literally. Listen to my podcast, listen to my thing, follow me, I'll show you the way. It's like I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. Like, yeah, I know it seems like the ramblings of a madman, but I've just seen too much, and the people that saying follow them, a lot of them are full of shit. And yes, going back, this is my ADD in full effect. Asked a question earlier about are agencies really doing that? Yes, 100%, dude. They're crafting, like, whether they're authentic or not, they're crafting people that you will want to follow. So what's hot right now? Like, what's the thing? Well, provocateurs, like people that are just stirring shit up. The guy who's walking into the hood and walking up, past people that are, minding their own business and trying to live their lives and put food on the table and going, what's up, homie? What's up with you? What's up with you? And then they get into a fight. Oh, it's a joke. There's a camera. Mm-hmm. There's that to get your attention, because that's hot. It's whatever's hot, they're going to try to sell you.
Yeah.
And right now, the thing that's coming up hot, and the reason I wanted to speak with you, because I haven't interviewed with anybody for like a year, is this fake authenticity bullshit hype train. This like self-help fucking bullshit. Yeah. Like, it's not that self-help is bullshit, not that authenticity is bullshit, but when you're packaging it and I know you're full of shit, then I gotta go, I gotta take a shot. I gotta take a shot at you. Yeah. Why? And somebody asked me that. They said, it's not your responsibility. What do you care? When I'm having conversations with my kids and they're going, oh, this guy's really cool, or this girl is really amazing, like I'm listening to what she's saying, I'm like, this person's really about? Like, do you know what they're really doing? Again, the Homelander thing. Like, everybody's going to Homelander and holding up signs. Well, what if that's your kid holding up a sign of Homelander and that dude is raping and pillaging? Yeah. Then you gotta pull your son aside and go, no, man, like this isn't real. This is bullshit. Yeah, that's why I care. I care because I got kids, So just trying to put it out there, but it is very real. They're trying to package this shit. Man, I'll even say, like, come aspects, not the movement, but aspects. People are going to be like, oh God, he's done. Oh, no. But aspects of the Me Too movement. Okay? Let me clarify that clearly as possible, that there are female perpetrators that are out there screaming the loudest about Me Too, who are perpetrators themselves. And or that's one class, or they were groomers. They were people that went out and got people for the perpetrators. Like Harvey Weinstein didn't act in a bubble any more than Jeffrey Epstein operated alone. Like he didn't. He had Maxwell. Like Weinstein had a bunch of people that were out going like, you want to meet with Harvey? Okay, come here. And, everybody from assistants to stars to actresses. And the second that dude got impaled like, Dracula by Van Helsing, in the court of public opinion and in an actual court, these some, I'm not saying all, I'm just saying some. There are a few that would go out there and go, and, screaming, me too. And they're on Twitter and they're going crazy. And it's like, but you were throwing the net. Threw the net out, grabbed a bunch of people and brought them into his office. What the fuck are you doing out there? It's because the agency's like, yo, we got to get ahead of this. Like, you got to get out there and be like in front of everybody. So when you see that much smoke and mirrors and everybody's like, poof, and everybody's, a business card after a flash paper and a dove comes out of their sleeve, like you get sick of the tricks and you're like, I just want to do stories with good people. Right on. Fuck everything you guys are doing. And by the way, dude, you don't need to be in LA to do that. You could be right where you are. Like the filmmaking and film and television is a global market. Do not have to come to LA. Don't. You don't. You really don't. Yeah. Future generation, don't move to LA.
Hey, there we go. That's a headline right there.
I want to add to that. I think there is like, it's, the more I think about it, it's almost like a war on authenticity. Because it's so easily manipulated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to differentiate that when you're just a viewer of someone actually being like purely authentic.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you can put that in like a bubble and like look at both of them and like the manufacturer could be like, you put a black square on your Instagram and now, the company checks, you're an actor and they check you got it. So you're going to be in the movie over someone else.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But that actual like pure thing can get overshadowed by something completely fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the scary world we're living in.
Well, it probably does more often than not, is what you're saying.
Like it's, and that breeds way more. What was that?
How do you know? That's the thing. It's like, I had a conversation with somebody, about somebody who I know very well. And I'm just like, yo, like you need to steer clear. Well, this person never did anything to me. Right. But this is bad, like criminal bad, like jail time bad, right? You got to steer clear. Oh, I don't know. They seem nice. Well, I want to believe that this is a nice person. That's when I was like, what is going on? Yeah. Like I'm giving you facts, dates, times. Yeah. One person I was like, here's a police report. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is what's going on. Like, you got to be careful. And they're like, no, it can't be. Can't be. And I just feel like so much noise. Like, how do we determine like truth? Seems like truth has lost its meaning. Like we used to have like some parameters to go, this is right, this is wrong, maybe this is true, this is false, this is accurate information, this isn't. Just like everything's propaganda. We are all, myself included, we are all our own propaganda machines. So how the fuck do we know what's real and what's not?
That's right. Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, at this point, it's like, it's really not possible, really.
Well, it is a way of looking at it through a lens of like, if we're all propaganda machines and we're all selling a thing, right?
I think that only exists in personal things. I don't think it can exist in like the world.
Like, are you trying to say like we're not meant
to?
Like
I know what we went through. You know, like we know, like we had certain things that we went through, that we have this relationship right now.
Right.
And you know, you could tell that to Adam, and he can believe it,
Right.
or he can't.
Or you can tell a screen that or a camera, and then
in a movie,
100 people will say
yeah.
they believe it or they don't. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. How do you label a thing as honest authenticity? I think, bro. What do you think about like having like a? It scares me because what we're talking about is with the CAA shit and performers and fucking people are really good at making you feel things, but like, don't you think we have like this internal like?
You're an actor, though. You're an actor.
Yeah. Right.
I got my start acting, so I think that's another thing. Like comedians or actors or whatever. And I'm not knocking comedians and I'm not knocking actors. I'm just saying that when someone's performing, we can kind of clock that.
Yeah,
a lot of times
shit.
you go,
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this the whole time. Is
what were you gonna say? I was like cutting you
You're
off.
on it, but I think you sniff because you're an actor too. You sniffed out what I was gonna say. I think like there's an internal fucking register, a barometer of dishonesty and honesty, and when someone's really fucking going through a thing, you could see it and you could say, "Damn!" Like, you know, I get their struggle here. I registers in my bones, in my skin, but someone's pushing a thing, like you feel the push, and I do. You know, me speaking personally, I don't like that too much. If I could see it, if I could see your work, my teacher used to say, "You see the work, it's not good," and
Right.
yeah. I don't like that.
See the sleight of hand. You go,
Yeah.
"Fucking that." I
The
see what you
manipulation, the push of like, see how human I am, see how much I feel, see I'm crying. Look.
did. I feel so deep.
Yeah. And I have empathy. I also know that's the give me love thing. It's a different way of working it, but
They're looking for that same thing.
that's right.
That's their way of going about it.
Adam, you're an observer, man. You're an observer of people, dude. And like you were talking about the writing, you're talking about the acting, you're talking about your work as a human being and what you're going to leave behind for future generations. And as observing people, man. Observing people. You've done it your whole life. And it seems to be something that you're attracted to. It's something you've always done. Like in the observation of all people, if you could have a dream right now, you fall asleep tonight, you see everyone you've ever seen before, and you're able to spend time with them, talk with them, and all these things. And what would be something that you can say, like confidently, like almost everyone to the person that I've ever come across, they desire this thing, or they do this thing, or they impress me with this thing. Like, not that everyone's, I don't even want to say that. Like, I'll just leave it there.
That's cool. That's a cool question. Like, you know, my best friend in the world is this guy Noah Danby, and I've known this dude. It seems like you guys have like a very very similar kind of a brotherhood, like a friendship.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's my brother, and I have a brother. You know, my brother Josh is a great guy, and you know, I've known Noah a long time, and we've always been honest with each other. There's been zero deception ever, at least that I can tell. Watch tomorrow, I find out some fucking shit. But you know, like he's just hasn't pulled any punches, and we've always kind of, you know, been very real with each other. But he, on top of being an actor whose IMDb just goes on forever, he's done security forever and worked, you know, front doors at some of the biggest clubs out there, biggest venues, biggest, you know, you name it, like handling VIPs and, you know, Toronto Film Festival, like everything under the sun. He's a great observer of people. And I think, you know, somebody said one time, like, everybody just wants to be loved. I love that. That like resonates. Like I like that, but I know some motherfuckers that don't. I'm not a psychologist. Like I can't, but I definitely get the feeling that that's not what they're about. They don't want that. Maybe love got twisted back when somewhere, but that's not what they're seeking. That's not what they're going after. I do know that everybody that I've seen consistently across the board, no matter who they are, want to at some point in time be heard. They want it. They want to be listened to and feel like, feel like that what they're communicating is getting through. I got that when I was, out on the street. Like, you see these people that are just like mumbling to themselves, and get a little bit of sitting down and listening to somebody, even if they're just like, I'm a whiskey tornado, man. I'm snowfall. I'm a desk. Jehovah told me this, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you sit with it for a little bit, mania and the manic kind of nature, at least in the people that I came in contact with, started to settle a little bit. And they were like, oh my God, this person's listening to me. Which is also why when I walk down the street, all the time, people will come up and just, like homeless people they just make a beeline to me because I'll like listen. But they want to be heard. They want to know that they've been listened to. Because really, dude, I don't know, man. Like, movies, so what? Like, that should all disappear. One EMP goes off, nobody's gonna. Our whole movies are done. They're just dust. Who gives a shit?
That's
like
true.
it's something that we do.
Yeah.
But like memories, they can continue. It does relate to storytelling, because if I can have a cool conversation with you, I thought maybe you pass that off. Adam was telling me, you tell your kid. Adam was telling me this story back when. And then that kid grows up and he goes, your grandfather used to tell me this story.
That's right.
And then, your great-grandfather told your grandfather a story, and now I'm going to tell you, It's Christopher Walken telling the story of the watch on the fucking kangaroo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just think people want to be heard. And I think that's a big part. I think if coming from a guy who's rambling like he's, downed 300 milligrams of Adderall. I just think that, like, I love hearing people's stories. Like, we went out the other day and just we're sitting down with this cool couple and got to hear their stories of like how they met and what they were working on and what they were doing. And I think that's the only thing that we leave behind. I think that's the real legacy, is like, the memories. Just want to make that mark on the wall of the cave, and it's not in something physical. It's not in, that'll decay, but we continue on. Eventually the human race will die out for sure, but I just think leaving something behind for the people that came behind you. Eventually somebody's going to go, wow, this thing that was left from me, where did this come from? And then they trace it back to you and you're remembered. I think people just want to be remembered. They want to be heard. They want to be remembered. I think even more than loved, be understood. Maybe.
Well
Maybe.
said,
I don't fucking know shit.
No, but you dug for
What do
it.
you think? What do you think?
I think all people want to be loved, Adam Simon. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're that guy.
No, I definitely am that
He is
guy.
that
I'll
guy,
tell you
for
what,
sure.
I definitely am that guy. And
I love that about you. That's cool.
I'm a cornball with that, man. I do. But I agree with you. I think that somewhere along the line, you said it briefly, but I think somewhere along the line, you see people who are like, I just want to be loved, man. And the definition of love has gotten twisted up by abuse, by past experiences that you fucked up, and you've twisted that definition for yourself, and now you seek other things to fill that hole. That's my belief, man. But yeah.
Where is this set up, by the way? Where is this?
Where we are right now?
Yeah.
This is a
My
kitchen.
Kitchen converted studio.
So, like, is this your house or is this?
This is mine.
That's Mike's apartment here.
And then what? Not giving away your secret coordinations, but like, what city are you guys in?
I'm like 10 minutes outside of New York.
Okay, cool. So when you guys get the chance, talking about family and cool people, these are the coolest people I've ever met.
Via Como. I knew
Yes!
it. I knew it. Shout out Via Como. I still got to go.
What's that?
Tell him, Adam. Tell him what it is.
It's, dude, so it's amazing, incredible.
And this may be your last thing. Because we're 2 hours in.
I'm sorry.
Beautiful woman that's in my life. We went out and spent time, which is crazy, dude, because I was right down the road from you.
Like right here. It's literally down
Really?
the
It
road.
really annoys me because we were chatting already. Had I, not been such an idiot, if I had to listen more, I'd have been like, bro, just come join me. And we would have gotten you guys fed. But it's in am I saying this right? Bergen?
North Bergen?
North Bergen.
Oh,
I work there.
That's where Mikey works.
okay, so this is called
The hot spot.
It's a restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gelato spot and
maybe.
a restaurant across the street.
I mean,
yeah, dude. So
Shout out.
Yeah, we got to go.
Giacomo, man. Giacomo's spot. And Giacomo is the chef, but Vico Gelato. This is 7901 Line Avenue in North Bergen, New Jersey.
oh man.
Best gelato you will have in your life, and across the street is their restaurant. And it is, dude, it's so ill. Like they use the eggs, they make everything there. The guys that are making the gelato are like doing boxing like in the back and fucking each other up and then going inside and making gelato. It's the craziest thing. And it's just really dope. Like I had to plug that because it's kind of the essence of what we're talking about. Like when we went out there, I met this dude, his wife and their kids. They welcomed us into their home and we posted up there for a couple of weeks and it was like, oh yeah, like he's got, this amazing family around him and great coworkers and good friends. And I was like, oh, so, this is actually achievable. Like having this kind of ecosystem of just shit and really honest with each other and really great. And it seems like you guys got that. And you have your, like, it's like a acting conservatory or what is that?
Yeah. My boy Adam, so he's my business partner. He's one of my best buddies. We shot our film in Dallas because he's from just outside of Dallas his whole life. And so he used to live in New York City. That's where we met. And then he moved out there with his wife during COVID. And when we got this production company up and running, our whole basis of story we tell him was like, let's tell it in places that maybe people don't want to go or people that feel like they're not being seen on screen. And let's also take the thing about acting that we love so much, the purity of this like technique we've learned, and try our best to distill it into a 1-year program that we can, first of all, have like home base and do it in a way that we can survive, and then also offer online courses, in the best way we can. Not a full way. You won't get I can't do it. He couldn't do it. We can't do it online. It's not you won't get the same, at least that's our belief. I can't give you what I've learned in a 2-hour Zoom, So I can give you some tips. I can give you some things that I can analyze about what you're doing and try to help you on your auditions and things like that. And he's very good at it. He's been doing it for a year and change now. But the in-person classes are in Dallas, Fort Worth, and they're fucking awesome. That Anytown Actors Lab, that's our partner on the program, and then Anytown Pictures is the company. And I listened to a past interview you did, bro. Boxcar.
Yeah.
How are we doing? Is that still the production company?
Yeah, I mean, Boxcar was kind of representative of like an old me.
Okay.
Because it was like, so that came from, it actually came from like Joe Carnahan was the guy who he called me Boxcar Willie. That was the first thing, because I would be like riding on the train. So I would always take the train I did hop on it at Union Station, and I go up to San Luis Obispo. I have family up there, and then I go down to San Diego because I got family down there. So I was just like sleeping on the train, writing on the train.
Right.
And so then one day he was like, Boxcar Willie, what are you up to? You know, where's Boxcar Willie today?
Yeah,
You know, like that kind of thing. And so I was like, oh, Boxcar Pictures. But then, right, and even in this conversation a little bit, like I kept it just was a reminder of having nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it'd be like if you opened up Going for a Drive Pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I'm leaving and I'm taking the car pictures, you know? It's like Boxcar Pictures, you know? So that needed to die.
Gotcha.
Like that
Gotcha.
that needed to go away. And so it did. And, you know, it's so funny. Everybody around here is in a rush to make their own like LLC and their own business. And it's like, why don't you make some shit first?
Yeah.
You make some shit.
I hear you.
I mean, I get it for like tax purposes or whatever.
Yeah.
Got nothing to tax though.
Yeah. If you just have the LLC, you're chilling in your house, and you're like, hey, it's our business. You know, it's like, fuck.
We'll make some, and it's like nowadays, man. Like everybody's got a phone. These lens packages that you can screw on the phones are insane. They're insane.
Yeah.
Like you can do so much on your own. You know, Giacomo, man. Like the reason. Because there's a lot of people, you know, that would be related to me or I've been friends with that don't necessarily get in that inner circle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same thing with, you know, her, that she's got a lot of people but they don't get close. But these people are close. Yeah. And when I met, you know, Giacomo and his wife, I was just like, it was just this it was this weird thing of like oh man, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's just family. Like you know it like when you see it. And he was talking about we had a conversation about business and about making something and moving something forward. And I said, well, what do you like to do, man? And he said, well, I like creating. I like making, you know, different creations and different recipes and different things. And I was like, well, is there a limit to that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, so, you know, I've done acting. And I was like, whoa, time out. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I got a movie on Netflix. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, on Netflix. Get the fuck out of here. And then I'm like, right, you got a movie on Netflix. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, right. This thing comes on and he's emotionally connected to the material. He's real. I believe him. When he opens his mouth, I'm like, that's a real dude having like a real situation. Like, this is so dope. And I'm like, good for you, man. Yeah. And I'm like, if that guy is just, you know, waking up in the morning and going, I want to tell this story of like my family, my Italian heritage and kind of like what's going on in the street, and he can go out and do it, then yeah, like anybody can, because we got these crazy, you know, devices in our hands where we can, you know, go shoot it. And I would say that to anybody, like, go make something, man. But Boxcar's dead. Boxcar's dead because, yeah, it was just like a reminder. It was like constantly like having that chip on my shoulder, like, yeah, this is where I came from. Like, I'm street level, you know? And then I'm no different than the motherfuckers that are trying to sell me street level from their multi-million-dollar houses.
Right.
Like, I'm no different. If I keep reliving my past, I'm not about that. I got to look forward to the future.
Gotcha.
What I want to do.
And what's the future, Adam?
Defamation of character pictures.
Hey. That has a ring to it, huh?
Cease and desist films.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Lawyer Up Productions.
Yeah, Lawyer Up Productions.
Yeah.
I freaking love that, dude. Watch your six. Watch your six Head on a swivel.
Yeah, man.
I mean, pretty common knowledge. I mean, I'm doing a project with RZA right now, and my dear friend Brandon Cox, who I love. He's a really talented DP.
Shout out.
I got another, like I said, I got a project I'm doing with Lynch, got a project I'm doing with Carnahan, got a project I'm doing with Naveed. There's another great guy. Naveed and Eric, they have this company, Apocalyptic Entertainment. They're just great guys. They produced Book of Eli and Rolla. Just great, but like great people, like good to be around. Naveed like really helped me out through a hard time in my life, and he's just a dear friend. It's like those kinds of people. Like you guys you guys could do anything. Like you guys could go film some shit right now.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You know, you're gonna be stuck on a set. It might as well be with people that you can grind with, be honest with, get a good story out of it, and do it. That doesn't mean a bunch of yes people. It just means, like, where's so and so? Oh, is he in a gutter, like passed out? Yayed out of his fucking mind. Like, you don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
You also don't want to deal with people that are like these personalities that are like bullies on set and shit like that. It's like, get on, tough guy. Like, you don't need any of that. I think you guys got a great thing going. Look, you got the school, got the podcast, got each other. You guys are making creative work. Like, use those people, man. Get the actors that are in your circle, the directors, the writers. Like, y'all get together and freaking create. Like, make stuff, make short films, make features. Like, just go shoot it, man.
Right on. Dude, I have like a list of questions from Adam we can't even get to. My boy Adam, not you, Adam. But
rapid fire. What if
you want to do? I was gonna say, let's do rapid fire for Adam.
Not rant.
Yeah, quick, because he wanted to ask you these, man. So I appreciate
challenge for you, Adam.
Get it.
Okay. What writing principles do you live by? Bang.
Write every day. Sometimes write all day, but definitely write every day. And number 2, switch up your the way you write. So sometimes for me it's dictation. Sometimes I write everything down in a notebook or keep a notebook by the bed. Sometimes it's sitting down in front of the laptop. Sometimes it's talking to somebody else who will dictate for me. But do it every day.
Right on. Okay. These are broad. How's the industry changing?
The industry's changing because everybody's watching movies on these, right? So I think there will always be room for spectacle for the Avatars and the Marvels and the DCs and shit like that. But by and large, people are going to be watching it in that format. So we need to make content for that format. But story is king. I think the pendulum swung one way with spectacle, and we've been firmly in escapism and spectacle. I think we are at the beginning of a renaissance that was similar to what happened in the 70s.
Oh, I hope you're right.
Dude.
Because we've been bereft of individual voices, and now we're seeing people coming out, bang, bang, and they're just coming out swinging. Like Peanut Butter Falcon was one of those.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
The Menu was one. Triangle of Sadness was another one. These things where people have a voice and they're saying something.
Yes.
It's not just, Godzilla's taking on King Kong again and knocking over buildings. Who will win? I get so tired. Sorry, this is the only rant. I get so tired of these Instagram videos where it's like, did you know in Doctor Strange, his real motivation for going in the like they're uncovering some magical hidden gem in the story. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Like it's basic story. Like it's just so ridiculous. Anyway, that's where I think we're in the middle of a renaissance, and I think that's going to change.
Exciting.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Do you think theaters are no longer the place for independent films? You kind of were answering.
Yeah, I think it's streaming. I think I do. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think it's streaming. I think the whole film festival circuit and getting your film sold at a film festival, I think that shit is dead.
Yep.
And everybody's gonna be, like, fuck you, man. Like, whatever. Like, we submitted all these film festivals.
No, but it is.
And so people can feel important and do that shit. It's like it fills no purpose but to satiate people's egos.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
Most films that are bought at festivals are secretly like walked in there by the studio that ends up purchasing them.
That's right.
Lionsgate meets up and is like, yo, Adam, I'm your new dad. I adopted you. Hi, nice to meet you. You're so cute. I'm gonna take you to school and drop you off. Just pretend like I'm not your father. And that's how the sale goes at the film festival. Dude. But it's bullshit. I think it's streaming. I think it's getting your shit online. I think it's the power is in your hands, which is very exciting. It's also very scary. People just got to get up and do it.
Dude, it's so fucking good to talk to you, bro.
Yeah.
You don't understand, man. I feel crazy sometimes, but you're speaking my
sitting here
fucking
ourselves
language.
just
like, I don't believe in the film festival circuit. I'm saying this
when we ramble here.
It's just good to hear from another voice, dude.
Dude, right? Like who's going to the film festival?
Oh, come on.
Over to Sundance. It's dudes that are looking to find the next Instagram model that they want to bang. It's people that want to go to parties, particularly if you're going to Sundance. The only film festivals that are actually worth a damn, I mean, the Venice, Italy Film Festival or the Cannes Film Festival, but those are instances where people are secretly backed. Like they're heavy hitters.
Right.
Would you call Don't Worry, Darling an independent film? No. Fuck out of here. Like, no way. Yeah. Like, you have Chris Pine.
Yeah.
In what freaking world is that? And Florence Pugh. In what world is that an independent film?
Come on, man.
It's like all these independent films. It's like this new indie darling starring, Will Smith. Get the fuck out of here, man. Whereas I'm finding these indies. I mean, I heard about the menu when I saw it online.
Right.
And I was like, what is this? And then I went and saw it in theaters because I wanted to give it that.
Yeah.
And it was dope. Triangle Sadness, same thing. I'm just finding these little gems like popping up, and I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. Macbeth.
Yeah.
Denzel's Macbeth.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where it's at. You just got to get your shit online. Forget this film festival, taking pictures and like, oh my god. Okay.
Thank you. Next. You already said
like, fuck this guy.
No, man, no. You're speaking to me. Where's the next independent film wave coming from? You said that already. Do you see a decline in film quality, both in terms of writing and acting? Well, you just kind of spoke on these things percolating now that are coming up that are not lacking.
I mean, I hate to say the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
What's your problem? But talk about a film that is backing something socially relevant and something that's commercially viable. Like it's insane, man. And the acting is just like top tier. You know what I rewatched? I'm rewatching now with I'll just call her my wife.
Yeah, say it, yeah.
We just do because like partner and girlfriend and all that stuff doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
With because she is a daughter and we all have been watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. And yeah.
It's a perfect show.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's perfect. The writing, the acting, everything. So I'm seeing gems, and at the same time, I think the majority of what people are consuming are Big Macs and Happy Meals. Like that's what we're going for. And people can stress all day and go like, oh, what do you do? Are you doing that Martin Scorsese thing where he's poo-pooing on Marvel? And it's like, nah, man, not really. Christopher Nolan's Batman obviously was layered and had all these, social commentaries and things that were going on. Joker, same kind of a way. But the bulk of this shit is just, guy loses his parents to an evil dude. He grows up, gets superpowers, gets revenge on the evil dude. The end. Cameo of a big superhero teasing the next thing. voila.
Yeah.
I just explained every movie that's fucking out there.
$1 billion.
And everybody gets excited because it's that pre-existing IP. You have an emotional attachment to it because you love the comic books and shit like that. But who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody's re-watching that shit to like learn, you know, the lessons that they want to pass off to the kids.
Right on. Right on. All right. And what is the thing the industry needs to get rid of or add to make it better? In your opinion.
Stupid. But like I do think I think people got to be. I don't know if that's the right thing, dude. Because if I'm thinking about it, I don't want the industry to do anything. Like, I kind of want the Wizard of Oz to keep pretending like he's a giant head floating in a cloud. I kind of want him to keep doing that stupid shit, so I can just do my thing. I mean, like. I don't look to Hollywood for answers. I think that's a problem. I think that's a big problem. I think there's a lot of people going like, hey, you know, let me in. Like I should sit at the table and I should do this and I should do that. And they're looking for some kind of somebody to give them like a pass or like come sit down here from a nebulous they or him or her that controls everything. There's no gatekeepers. There are gatekeepers. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. But I just look to that for answers to get better or worse. I look to me. Like I would make sure that that my writing is getting better, that the acting is getting better, that I'm surrounding myself with killers, you know, that we're getting stuff done, and. You know, I think Hollywood's going to do its own thing. It's going to continue to push whatever they're going to push, and that doesn't have an effect on me. I'm doing my own thing.
Right on, right on, man.
Covered ground today, huh?
Bro, it's been special, man. It's been a special one for me. It's been real special. Thank you. For coming on
Dude,
again,
you guys are awesome, man. I freaking love talking to you. I love it. I love what you said. Do you like wake up in the morning and like, is it like you get up in the morning, boom, you hit the ground and like pray, or do you just, is it like a running thing? Like you just kind of talk. I do that. Like when I drive, I'll talk out loud, and sometimes I'll talk out loud to my future self, and I'll be like, hey, future Adam, throw me a fucking bone. I can't figure this shit out. So when you know, remember, Adam, when you get like 2 years ahead and you figure this shit out, remember to think back on this time, throw me a bone. You know, like, but I also, you know, like pray and meditate. But like, is that like a ritual, like a ritualistic thing for you that you do every day?
Yeah. I got taught. I didn't know what like prayer even looked like for a while, and it would be like me asking for shit a lot, and I felt like I didn't have no connection. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I was just kind of talking.
Lap or something.
Yeah, and then I started hitting these devotionals. I learned what they were, and it's like this morning devoting yourself to, you know, to God, and I would spend time like. I learned like you can just listen in these moments. You don't even have to talk. You could just really just be present. And the presence thing is the thing I think that and it's not every day. Dog. Like honestly, I'll roll over, I'll hit the phone first, and then it'll be an email, and I'll say, shit, I forgot to pay that bill, or I really got to get on this question I want to answer for the podcast or whatever, or I want to get my wife this thing or whatever the thing is. That's the first thing that hits me, and then I get nervous, fucking anxious. But the thing that always kind of levels me out is a walk with my dog in the morning. I walk my little 6-pound sheepoo, Teddy, and I walk him. And on the walk, like I love just watching him walk. And he kind of grounds me. And then I hit my devotional on the walk, and I could just listen. I could sit there and just listen. I could just be present. I could wait for something to hit me, and usually something will. And that will that's my prayer life right now.
Do you and just say, hey, fuck off? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Do you and your wife like pray together?
My wife is Muslim, so my wife is she's just getting into like reading the Quran, and for the first time, it's like she wasn't practicing. Now she's trying to like read about it more, get more involved, and find her connection to God. And I think like we were reading it together before I came actually today. She just got her copy on it from Amazon, and it's cool, man. Like to see her start to read, because it was like obviously a divide in the beginning where it was like, how's this gonna fucking work? And
All right.
we're recording right now.
Yeah.
All right,
didn't
dude.
stop it.
Okay, so we lost Adam on Wi-Fi towards the end there, but what an episode, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was sick.
I feel like
Dude, we covered ground on ground,
I
man.
felt like passion just flowing.
Yeah.
And just like
and you know what's
honest
cool?
conversation.
We were able to talk to someone is in it, and it's all true. It's all true.
I don't want to say it,
I don't want to say anything,
but we're on to something.
and
Bro.
you know, so it's just it's cool, man.
Go check out Adam's films.
Yeah,
Man
man.
Down, Still Out. I told you it changed me when I saw it. Point Blank's on Netflix right now. He's got other things coming out. Just keep an eye on that. Dog, thank you
Dude.
again for another episode, bro.
Of course, man.
Love you, man.
Always. This is a long one for the first time in a long
it felt
time.
good though to
So,
get long form
hope you
again.
guys enjoy it.
Yes, sir.
Anytime Actors Lab, learn to act, whatever level, Dallas Fort Worth area, or online consultations. AnytimeActorsLab.com. You Are Here podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/You Are Here podcast. Best way to support us, low as a coffee. Spread the holiday cheer still. Twitch.tv/You Are Here podcast. We're live, we're gaming, we're twitching, we're reacting. It's love. My name is Mike, and I'm signing out.
You're so good at this. My name's Dave. I love y'all. Please be kind to yourselves. Please be kind to one another. Bang, bang. You're so good at this.